So I moved here in Canada in the fall of 2009. My mom got me here. She chose Canada mainly because of the better opportunities that Canada offers.
I moved to Canada back in 2000 with my family. My parents at that time felt that Canada had the most to offer in terms of healthcare, education, and also a future for us.
So for starters, Filipino music is based mainly on love, on feelings. Ever since we started our own genre, we had condiments, we call it condiments. It's all about how you express your love, how you express your feelings towards one person, and we rooted our music from there. And it has evolved as what music is supposed to happen. Philippines has caught up with the scene. And up to now, we can still say all Filipino songs are basically based on love, emotions, strong emotions.
The song Kung Alam Mo Lang is one of my favorites actually, because I felt like the lyrics to it really speaks to a lot of people who went through the same experience, and I feel that it's really emotional. Even the music is very emotional, and the lyrics, the words, and the music put together, they really mixed well, and I feel that it added to the emotion of the song. Especially when Nathan is performing it, you can see in his body language, the way he sings it, he really feels this song as if he's experiencing it at the moment every time he performs it, which is in turn, it makes me emotional about it as well, and I feel like I'm feeling the song as well. A lot about what they call is kundiman, which basically songs that people use to serenade men in particular, to serenade women that they were courting. And I do know of I guess you would call it more indigenous type of music in the Philippines, involving more of native instruments like kulintang and kubin, and it has this very earthy sound to it, which in modern music is not much incorporated anymore. It used to be back a long time ago, like say in the 70s or 80s. And every once in a while you hear these new artists try to incorporate that into their music. I like to hear that more actually, but unfortunately with these modern times, people in the music industry especially, they seem to shy away from that because it kind of alienates some of the more younger audience, I guess. But you still have people like us, I guess, who are still in tune with the traditional form of music that is associated with our culture.
When I think of Filipino music, it's hard to distinguish, I think, Filipino music, the mainstream Filipino music, to that of Western music or Western mainstream music. And this is good and bad at the same time, because if you were just to listen to any of the top Filipino bands, it's really hard to tell if that they were Filipinos. And in terms of this style of music, I would say that it's very Western. It's a lot of things altogether, but unfortunately, I don't think we stand out as Filipino music compared to, for example, if you listen to South Asian music, even their contemporary music or artists, you know that there's certain notes and timbre that gives you a hint that this is South Asian music. And same goes to, say, for example, Chinese or Japanese music. And this, I think, is what has been forgotten in the in modern Filipino music. In the past, we do have indigenous music or tribes that play indigenous instruments that give out their own tone. And unfortunately, there's only a few artists or mainstream artists that was able to keep on playing and writing material or performing this sort of music because, again, of the influence of the Western music to our culture.
I remember the first few days I was here in Canada. First time I bought myself brand new skateboard and I went to all the parks. I bought a day pass, TTC day pass, and went through everywhere that I can go to.
My first impression, well, it was a lot more cleaner than back home. People were a lot nicer, more welcoming, I think. And the weather was really nice. Is I myself, I don't particularly like the really hot weather back in my home country. So living in a place like Canada, where basically half of the year you're living in the cold, some seasons it could be very difficult, but it was not much of a problem for me because I like the cold.
We're very fortunate that we live in Canada, and as artists, specifically as musicians, Canada really gives out everything, not just financial resources, but a platform. Where else can you see festivals where every landmark location has been opened to ethnic artists, and this is very empowering to local musicians. It's not just showcasing your heritage, your music to the public. It's also being encouraged to not forget your heritage or your music. Where else can you find a country that instead of saying or dictating, you have to sound like this, you have to forget about your language? No, it's the other way around. They want you, Canada wants musicians to go back to their roots and grow, and again, not forget it, and not feel intimidated or not feel discriminated by the outside world, because the many ethnic communities really serves as the fabric of this society. And as Filipino Canadian musicians, where our native language is not English, it's more natural for us to write materials in our own language, and knowing that we can get a platform and funding for it at times, then we can be more creative and we can be more true to our music. Because at the end of the day, when the people appreciate you and when you sing in front of the audience, I believe with passion, with sincerity, then you're able to communicate your music and not rely on the lyrics, but instead the real emotions that you put into the song as artists, and that's really the most satisfying part.
I miss the Philippines. I miss the motherland. Up to now. But, everything today is so high-tech. You have the internet. You have almost everything there. You can see whatever's been played there. If you want to watch a gig, there's always the internet that you can turn to. Because I remember way back in the Philippines, just before I got here, I was in school and I do gigs at night, almost every night, sleepless nights. But it was fun. That was the life. But then when I got here, everything changed. It's a wake-up call. I became more responsible. I had 2-3 jobs just to sustain my vices. But clearly, I needed to grow, and Canada gave that to me. The opportunity was there. I got to save up for everything that I needed to make my craft better. And I was fortunate enough to have these people with me and guide me through it. Now we're playing together and we're making music together, better, smarter. And to be honest, life in Canada and life in Philippines, you can't compare them, but when you say home, Philippines and Canada is one for me.
I suppose I do feel a little bit nostalgic when we're performing, I guess. When we're performing on stage and in front of people, I don't have a lot of experience playing on stage back in the Philippines, but when I feel that vibe again, when performing here, it does bring back the few times that I've performed back in my country, and it's this good feeling of seeing all those faces in front of you And even though they don't know you, they can appreciate your music, whether or not it's their style or not. You can feel that they can appreciate it, and they can feel the music the way you're feeling it while you're playing it.
Still not enough. He's getting out of hand. The favorite shot I had, it took a right away. It ain't easy to pretend the heart is gonna win. Just try to understand. She's with another man.
We're very fortunate to have performed across different iconic venues here in Toronto, and I would say that the most historic place or a special venue that we've performed is just what happened recently. We were fortunate enough to play over at Lee's Palace, and being such an iconic venue and looking at it and coming back to it, I'm very grateful, but at the same time, I also fear that with the current trend that's happening, where a lot of the great musical venues in Toronto have all been slowly shutting down and being converted to commercial spaces, condos. I fear that Lee's Palace might be next in line. And you know, when you go to the place, and even though it's an older building, you really feel a sense of belonging and pride that you've shared or you've played on stage. And this is the same stage that a lot of your childhood musical heroes have played too. And it's a bittersweet experience. But we are very fortunate to be living in a generation, or maybe the last generation, to have played this iconic venue.
He's in love, but she's in love with another. Goes on and on and on and on again. Still not enough. He drove around the bend. He listened to a beat. He looked around an empty city. An empty city. He's in love, but she's in love with another. Goes on and on and on and on again. He's in love, but she's in love with another. On and on and on and on again.
We all grow old, and we all have the opportunity to make better with ourselves. And here in Canada, if you work hard or work even harder, you can achieve everything. It's like honing yourself into something that will really propel up there.
Being able to play music and just do that and not do anything else really. So to be able to make a living playing music and to be famous, of course. But however unlikely that may be, it's always going to be a dream of mine. And just to be able to play music for as long as I can.
As a musician, you always want to grow. You always want to get inspired. And when you're not really holding your guitar, you're not really writing songs, then you stop becoming that. And it would be a fantastic opportunity to be able to do that and at the same time complement what you do for your day job. I think on its own, it's already a dream come true.
Listen to